What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to do something that a lot of you have been asking for, and that is a pet PvP slash PvE tier list. So we're probably going to break this down into two separate parts here. First, we're going to start with some PvE, then move on to the PvP pets, and we're going to rank them and tell you why they are good or bad in each scenario. So hopefully you guys are going to use this information to make your team better, but let's jump right into it. Okay, since we are starting off with the PvE tier list, there's probably one that sits above the rest for just about every single player in PvE, and that is going to be the Phoenix pet. So, yes, the Phoenix, the newest pet in the game, there's a lot of great benefits to it. And very easy synergy as well. So of course this pet will deal damage against 4 random enemies and leave a burn on them, dealing extra damage over 3 rounds. But it's not quite 3 rounds. It's something everybody gets confused. It's very confusing the way end of round dots and application dots work in this game. So this is a little crash course for a lot of you who do not know necessarily. When it says 3 rounds, technically the first application of that 3 rounds starts when it first hits the target. The second application ends at the end of the first round that you use it on. Essentially, you're wasting 2 rounds worth of dots on that very first round it uses its active. And then, of course, it'll last 1 round afterwards, and then it'll end. So technically, you only get 1 round of this burn, but it will also restore health to 4 random allies for 3 rounds and increase them 40 or 80% bonus damage against burning targets. So what do you pull away from this? Yes, it is probably one of the best PvE pets for the average player in the game. It's very versatile. It'll do decent in PvP as well, but as far as PvE goes, definitely top tier. Now you do need to run a burn hero alongside this Phoenix. Otherwise, you'll only get 1 round of that benefit. Why is that important? Well, that 80% bonus versus burning targets stacks. You can get up to 240, 320% extra damage against burning targets at the late, like 13, 14, 15 rounds of the fight. So it's really important to have that burn on there because, of course, the Phoenix does not keep the burn all the time. It's 1 round every 3 rounds. So it's a little deceptive. So it is something you do need to know about. Number 2, though, we're going to throw it in the A tier, is going to be the Wolf. So the Wolf pet actually is very strong, almost identical to the Phoenix, minus, of course, the burn. Actually something we should talk about too, the bonus effects that these pets have. So we'll take the Wolf back off, go back to the Phoenix. So the Phoenix is really also good because the passives give 20% holy damage and 20% crit damage. That is probably the best offensive stats you'll see. Next up, though, is definitely the Wolf. So the Wolf is very similar, except it doesn't have the heal portion of it. Now, instead of 80% damage against burning targets, it's 80% versus bleeding targets, which is a lot easier if you're building a hero like Ithaca or Delacium Army, or just a standalone Ithaca. You are going to want to use this pet over the Phoenix because it synergizes with the hero so well. Even if you have like Scarlet Queen Halora, she has a bleed, is going to synergize better with this. You don't need to use a 6-star Deathsworn to cheese out a burn on the target. It's very simple. And they will be giving, I believe it's precision, and I forget the secondary stat. What was it? Precision and armor break. So still very good, very good ones right there. But it is slightly worse than the Phoenix for the average player because, number 1, of course, burn is much easier to get on your target. The B tier one, I think we would go with a Snake. This one's a little confusing for a lot of people. It used to be one of the better pets in the game. No longer is. Again, same exact as the Phoenix or the Wolf, but instead of burn or bleed, it's poison. And poison is not that good. It gives 15% block and 20% skill damage, to the worst stats you could really have out there for an offensive PvE pet. It's not great. There's not many poison heroes in the game. Again, you could use this with Ithaca, but it is a significantly inferior version of the Wolf in that case, so I would stay far away from it. Then after that, you kind of lose out on any benefit when it comes to pets. It's going to immediately drop down to C tier with the deer. So the one slight bonus from the deer is that it does give 15% attack. It also gives, I believe it is block and armor, so it's a very defensive pet, but that 15% attack is okay. Now, if you're not using a phoenix or a wolf, you're probably doing something wrong in PvE. But there are some small side benefits to some of these other pets out here. Another one is the dragon. So the dragon has a chance to stun targets and increases your allies by 75% of holy damage. I would almost technically put it up in the B tier. We could leave him there because he does have a lot of uses in things like Tower of Oblivion. In certain sea lands, he has a chance to stun, 36% chance to stun on active to enemy targets, and then increases for random allies 75% holy damage for 2 rounds. That one's pretty good. Plus, his passive stats will give 10% crit chance and 20% crit damage. So those are really, really strong. I think because of that, we would bump it up to a B tier. And then after that, we really, really drop off hard. So the rest of these are pretty much having to do with some sort of CC, but could have some use. The fox can give energy when you use an active. It can give you 62 energy. Its passives give precision and skill damage, so decent offense, but not great. The next one is the Griffin. The Griffin's more of a PvP pet. You're going to be reducing the target's armor by 35% while increasing your attack by 25% for 4 random allies. I would probably maybe bump that up to a C tier just because of that. You'll get holy damage and I believe precision. So again, not horrible stats. And then the last two are going to be Apparition, which essentially has a chance to freeze the targets for 2 rounds while increasing 4 random allies 120% damage against frozen targets. And then the last one is going to be the Stone Golem. We built that on our Petrify meme team way back in the day. Has a chance to petrify targets for 2 rounds while increasing 4 random allies 25% crit damage. Not great at all. I think he also gives precision and armor, so not great stats. Deer is the only one that's kind of confusing. It can be beneficial if you're having trouble living, but beyond that, not really worth it. So let's clear this out. Let's get that taken care of there. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be PvP. So as far as PvP goes, the list is very, very different. There's a couple pets that are really, really top tier here. Number one is something that's become a very strong pet right now, and that is the Griffin. There's a Sphinx, I guess I should call it. I know I always say that, but again, because it reduces the enemy's armor by 25% or 35%, that's really, really strong. But it also reduces the enemy's speed by 35 for 3 rounds. That's really huge because PvP is make it or break it based around speed. So if you're looking for a pet that's going to do great in PvP, Sphinx is by far probably one of the most popular choices right now. And then it also has a chance to increase your 4 random allies attack by 25%. It has holy damage, it has precision, very offensive stats. Those can synergize extremely well. One of these might be a little bit of borderline. This might be a little bit of my bias here, but the Fox is extremely good. Giving energy to your team is very good. Granted, that energy buff will actually proc a Foresee's Impending Doom, so make sure that. But it also has a 40% chance to silence enemies, so that's a nice little benefit. Block enemies out of their active abilities. We're getting skill damage and precision. They're pretty solid. Another pet I would put way up there is going to be the deer pet. The big part with the deer that we didn't really talk about on the PvE side is it'll restore 4 random allies 20% of their HP and give them 37% armor and 15% attack. So that heal is a static 20%. It's not a value heal. It is a static number, which is great. You're getting block and you're getting armor, which isn't always great, but in PvP and extra little survivability, you know, isn't that bad. Another one that can do very, very well is the Phoenix pet right there. So the Phoenix is one that has a very good dual purpose. Phoenix pet can help ping off unbending will shields, and overall is pretty decent. There was a point in time where the Phoenix burn didn't count as a burn, but they did remedy that, so it did kind of up its value. After that, though, I would probably throw Dragon in the B tier. This one, though, you could technically probably put Dragon in either A or B tier. It's very, very strong with the 36% chance to stun, increasing holy damage for your team. But the biggest part is that crit chance. It gives 10% extra crit chance. And if you have heroes that really rely on crit chance, you're going to want to check this out, and you're going to want to make sure this is addressed with it, because that can be a very, very powerful thing. Once we get past that, there are more niche pets when it comes to PvP. I would actually still keep the Apparition up the top. So the Apparition for a long time was used for Mim Cheese lineups, but it can still do decent. It has a 36% chance to freeze targets for 2 rounds, meanwhile increasing 4 allies 120% damage against frozen targets. Now, we don't really have any heroes that freeze, but if by chance you actually freeze a target with the pet, you'll be doing a ton of extra damage. It has 10% precision and 20% holy damage. That holy damage is the big key part. That's what also the Phoenix has, which makes it very strong, and it does make it viable. After that, you have the wolf and the snake. They're pretty much the same. They leave a dot on the target. They can ping off some unbending. They're kind of offensive, but as far as PvP, they're not that great. And then I think I have to just throw Stone Golem in dead last. Yes, it has a 36% chance to petrify the enemies, but the downside is the buff is 4 random allies receive 75% bonus crit damage. Not that amazing. And then the stats are precision and armor, kind of bottom of the bucket, bottom of the barrel stats. So hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any further questions, make sure you leave it in a comment down below. If you think I need to change the order of these as well, again, drop it in the comment down below. I love hearing feedback and kind of hearing everybody's experiences with pets, because everybody has a different pet. Everybody has different experiences with that pet. So let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.